Howard, founder of the Happiness Factory and registered psychologist, and in this video I'm going to talk about unhealthy emotions, healthy emotions, and how to spot the difference. With healthy emotions, just like any other emotion, they're driving you to do something. That's what an emotion is. It motivates you to actually do something. Now, healthy emotions drive you to do something that is of benefit to you and based on the circumstances that they actually occur in. Whereas unhealthy emotions drive you to do things that don't necessarily benefit you right now and are based on past things that may or may not be relevant to what's actually happening. Check out my video on dysfunctional beliefs if you want to know more about how those come about. Healthy emotions, they feel valid and they tend to be proportionate to what's actually happening. So if you have a healthy emotion come up, it's going to start at a fairly little level because it just wants you to pay attention and do whatever it's driving you to do. And if you don't pay attention to it, if you push that emotion to the side, it's going to come back at a bigger level. And if you push that aside, it's going to come back even bigger, and if you push that aside, it's going to come back even bigger, and if you still haven't done it yet, it's going to reach this point of you're going to explode with this emotion in a way that maybe isn't beneficial to you, but at least lets that emotion express itself, because you still haven't been paying attention. Now, every emotion does something differently. It drives you to do something that is unique to it. Anger, for example, is fantastic at building boundaries. It can draw a line in the sand and defend it to death. Grief sucks at that. Can't do that at all. But what grief is fantastic for is pointing out what actually matters to you and what you're spending your time on. Whereas anger sucks at that. So every emotion drives us to do something different that is unique to it. And if we actually take a moment and go, okay, what is this emotion driving me to do? Is it proportionate to what's actually happening, and is it of benefit to me? Then chances are we're going to realize, hey, that's a healthy emotion. It just wanted us to pay attention and to start getting whatever it is in place. Whereas an unhealthy emotion is going to feel valid as well, but it's going to be disproportionate to what is actually occurring in that moment. So for example, where in the healthy example, it started fairly low and built up gradually, in the unhealthy way, it's going to start fairly high and stay fairly high. And even if you put something in place, that doesn't necessarily mean that that emotion is going to go away. If we look at anger, just to give us an example, and let's say somebody asks to borrow money from you, and you give them money, and they don't pay you back, and they ask to borrow more money, and you give them money, and they don't pay you back, and this goes on a couple of times, in a healthy way, you would have felt a little bit of anger the second time they asked you, and a little bit more the third time, and a little bit more the fourth time, and a little bit more the fifth time. And it would have got to the point where you finally blew up. And maybe it wasn't even at them because you weren't paying attention, but if you were paying attention when it just came that little bit, you would have been like, hey, self, wait a minute, I'm really upset about this. And I'm upset about this because they're walking all over me like I don't have a boundary, because I haven't put one in place. So I need to say, this is not cool, you can borrow more money when you pay me back the first time. And if you can't do that, maybe it's, I just need to not talk to this person because I don't know how to say no to them. And I still need some boundary for me to say, okay, this is the benefit for me. Whereas if it was an unhealthy level of anger, they asked to borrow money the first time, and instead of starting at a 1 level, you start at a 6. Because it is not based on the circumstances that it's occurring in. It's based on that past thing. And if it's starting at a 6, even if you put that boundary in place, it might still continue to be a 6. It might not care that you have a boundary there, because once again, it isn't about this specific thing. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that clarifies the difference between healthy and unhealthy emotions. If you want to check out more videos, feel free to subscribe, or look at my blog at www.happinessfactory.ca.